I've actually two things I'm going to share with you today. The first is not really directly related to my role on MSL, but to my role in the MRO project. I'm the team leader for the imaging system on MRO, and one of my team members from my company was targeting MRO up here as part of her duties, and she brought to my attention the first thing I'm going to show you. I need to set the stage because it's going to come on the screen and then it's going to flash off after a couple of seconds. What you're going to see is a picture that we took on August 1st of the landing area, and obviously the lander and its other pieces are not in that image. And then the second image you'll see, it'll come up in 2 seconds later, is going to be the image we took on the 7th at the same time that High Rise was taking the picture that you've seen. I think there are pictures in the back of the room of that. And so we rode along with the High Rise. The context camera is a much lower resolution camera. It's 1/20th the resolution of High Rise, so we 20 times poorer. So we get 6 meters per pixel, take the image, 5 meters when we map project it so that we can compare image to image, but we also cover 50 times more area than High Rise does. Our swath width is typically 30 kilometers wide, and this particular image had a 42-kilometer width because we were looking sideways at the surface, and the entire image is like 275 kilometers long. So we cover a huge section of Mars when we take these images. Lilia was looking at the after image, and she found something. Something a little odd. So I'll draw your attention when the pictures come up. Look to the right side, sort of down range from the area where the other pieces of the vehicle fell. So we can have the first graphic. It'll basically flash between that's the after. There's the before. There is the after. There is the before. And look over at the right by that little mesa. And there, just to the upper left of that mesa, you see these little black things flicking on and off. Okay, so Lilia blew that up. And if we go to the next slide, this will also be another flickering image. No, and then they see 6 spots. What are those 6 spots? Well, Lilia knew enough to go asking. Ken Edgett came in and he saw this on the screen from the door of our room and said, "What's that?" Because it's very obvious to people who know Mars. Lilia and Ken know Mars very well, and very obvious to people who studied of Gale that these were different. And basically, those are the 6 entry ballast masses, EBMs, I guess they're called. They're 25-kilogram tungsten slugs about this big. They hit the surface and they disturb the surface. And these particular things are about 12 kilometers downrange from the lander. They have about a 1 kilometer dispersal. And these were what was thrown off just before the straighten up and fly right phase, just before parachute came out. They followed their separate path to the surface, and that's where they hit. So it was a great find by Lilia, and we're all very pleased that it worked. And the EDL guys were very excited to see these, because this is another test of all the modeling they've done for EDL. This tells them how inert objects that aren't doing any activity come through the atmosphere and fall. There are other pieces that we will look once MRO is allowed to turn its payload back on. We will be able to do that test, go look for these other large features. So that's my first story. We were all very excited about that yesterday.